Meu nome é Cairo Santos e eu sou kicker e único brasileiro jogando na NFL. Cada chute, cada jarda conquistada, cada passo me levou para mais perto dos meus sonhos. Agora, a cada R$200 em compras com seu Visa cadastrado, você tem a chance de ficar mais perto do sonho de assistir ao Super Bowl 59. E usando o seu cartão de débito, você ainda concorre a prêmios diários de até R$1.000. Não importa o tamanho do seu sonho, dê o primeiro passo. Visa, apoiando seus passos aonde você quiser chegar.
Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
Retailers or learn more at tclusa.com.
And now, live from the TCL broadcast studios, it's Joe Souchere and Patrick Royce with Sports Talk.
You think one of our clubs has a victory in them tonight? Okay. Reavers thinks that the Wolves might have a better chance of a victory tonight.
He's a heavy drinker, so
they got no chance in that ballpark against the Yankees. None.
No, but you
Zero.
think it's the ballpark. You think it's the ballpark.
No, it's the team too.
Yes.
The team is very good. They just have no chance against the Yankees in New York.
The day Jorge Polanco, a fine young gentleman, was suspended for 80 games, the vibe changed, and it hasn't been regained, even though they had a decent start. That nothing good has happened to them. Nothing good is happening to them.
Have they had the Timberwolves disease?
Even when they do the right thing, it's the wrong thing.
Right.
It's not quite that
This
bad.
happened in spring training, right?
Yes. Well, Santana's deal came up, and they had the surgery, but you could survive that.
Yep.
But all of a sudden, your shortstop, who's a big part of your batting order, and the least likely of your players to get popped for that, as far as personality is concerned anyway, all of a sudden, and then nothing good's happened ever since that. Buxton gets hurt, and Morrison 2 years ago started off awful. Last year started off good, hit 38 home runs. He started off awful again. Sano was as rotten as he was.
Oh, he's terrible.
He's hit 191.
He's just terrible.
He's brutal. And it's everything's, the pitching is mediocre, just nothing's good happening. Nothing good is happening to them. I'm missing something else. Who else has been hurt? Somebody else got hurt too. I mean,
Irv.
Yeah, Irvin Polanco, and Buxton now is on the DL with the migraines and the bad. Buxton goes out to get out to recover from migraines, and then he fouls the ball off his foot. We're not going to see him for another week. He's still got swelling on his foot, so he can't play. It's just the bad vibe. The bad vibe all of a sudden. Now that can change in a hugely long season, but
And it might change when you have the Cincinnati Reds coming to your park on Friday.
the Reds have,
And good weather forecast.
The Reds have won a couple in a row after losing virtually all of them. But yeah, it should be a nice weekend. So.
I know why. I think I started it.
What?
I think
You got on the bandwagon?
me missing Taste of Target Field.
Oh, my God.
Could be.
I have never missed it. It set a vibe where, wait a minute here.
Yeah, but let's face it, Rook. 6 of the last 7 years were disasters. So
and you made it to all those.
5 of the yeah. That's,
Well, then I'm
I don't think
perplexed.
you can take responsibility.
Okay, good. This is a weight off my
Because I'm
shoulders.
sure that the year they had set a franchise record for losses 2 years ago, you made it.
I
right?
did make it.
Right. So
I had to make it to get to the Luke Schimpf's Red Cow Burger.
Ooh.
So maybe it's not me. I feel relieved then. Thank you.
I think you would have, if you would have known that they had the $59 bacon wrapped Murray's tenderloin there, you might have flown back.
I might have walked home. They owe me one.
You might have flown back for
As
that.
much as I think it'd be really fun if the Timberwolves could bring it home, how you overcome that 50-point third quarter?
Well, here's what
You
you
have
got
to have one yourself.
Here's what you got to overcome. They're going to make 23s and you're going to make 6. Mm-hmm. And people want them to shoot more threes. That's not the answer. They made them. They looked great one night because they made them. Mm-hmm. But they are not a good shooting team. So Jace Frederick from your paper had a great interview today with Jimmy Butler's agent, who spoke more common sense than any moron on talk radio or in the social media or anywhere else has spoken, that we have a very distorted view here of what improvement is. Mm-hmm. He brought in all these veterans, and apparently we got dummies who don't see a 16-game improvement as improvement. They won 16 games more than they did last year. Mm-hmm. They lost a few clunkers. So not everybody does, but there's about 4 or 5 NBA teams that rarely do that, but everybody else loses games they shouldn't lose and win a few they shouldn't win. So it's the idea that if they get beat tonight, it's a disappointing season. You got to be a moron to say that when you're in the playoffs for the first time in 14 years. But people don't like Thibodeau, so therefore they want it to be a disappointment. Mike Zimmer, same guy, grumpy SOB, more likely to call out his players than Thibodeau is publicly. He's a sweetheart. Everybody loves him. We think all the players love him. We have no idea, but we assume the players
You're in
love him.
Thibodeau's camp, in other words.
No, I'm just saying let's take a rational look at this thing.
Thibodeau's not going anywhere, is he?
I don't even think Glenn Taylor did that. This all started when Taylor was on with Chad Hartman on CCO, and as he has a tendency to do, and getting one of my paychecks from him, I'm not going to be real harsh here, but he says goofy stuff. He's from Comfrey. When you cut through all the billions of dollars, I'm from Fulda. Yep. He's from Comfrey. Okay?
Right.
There's goofy stuff that goes through your head.
You speak goofy stuff.
Goofy stuff.
Yeah.
And the boy from Comfrey, despite all his wonderful successes, he says some goofy stuff once in a while. And he throws out something about Butler choosing to have knee surgery rather than a different procedure, that he could have maybe come back sooner, which got the agent all fired up because
he's got to protect his
three
client.
different doctors, including the Timberwolves doctors, told him to go have surgery. But that's what happens when you're from Comfrey.
Comfrey might be smaller than Fulda.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It could be a suburb.
Yeah.
It could be Comfrey was a merged high school long before they even thought about it down there.
And folks, just so you know, goofy stuff, that was the calm G-rated version of that particular dialogue.
No, it's just, that's, I like the guy, but he says goofy stuff once in a while. He got Kevin Garnett all fired up by, the Timberwolves asked Kevin Garnett not to play the last 5 games one year so that they could
successfully
get more ping pong balls. And then after he was gone a couple of years, Glenn said something, well, he didn't play at the end of one season. That's because you asked him to, not to. But anyway, that happens. What the heck?
You say some crazy things too,
I
but
do too.
The difference is you don't have $1 billion.
No,
that's where the commonality ends, right?
That's true. Right. If I say goofy stuff about the Timberwolves, not really going to get somebody's agent to respond.
I have said nothing but kind things about Glenn Taylor because I'm hoping he'd buy the Pioneer Press. Well, my agenda is very clear.
Yes. Right on
the great thing about Glenn is, God love him, if one of the guys from the St. Paul paper comes up and talks to him, he's as likely to give them the story as he is the Star Tribune.
Right. He's from Comfrey.
Yeah, and half the time I'm not sure he knows who works for who. I know he knows Sid works for him.
In fact, Pat, to back you up, when you say goofy stuff about the Timberwolves, you just get the previous general manager in trouble with the league and then subsequently fined.
Yes.
Do you have the soundbite?
No.
Dang it.
Which one is it?
Oh, I thought you had it up.
No.
Timing is everything.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
You got those two guys back there.
Yeah.
That's the, he smokes too much pot. Cost him.
I don't know. Show of hands.
No, that's a different one.
Show of hands.
That's when Charlie Walters raised his hand.
What Beasley is, he's a very young and immature kid who smoked too much marijuana and has told me that he's not smoking anymore.
Yeah.
And I told him that I would trust him as long as that was the case.
That was a taped interview with Mackie and I, and it cost him $50,000 and cost the team $50,000.
It's nice to make the news, isn't it?
Yeah. Well.
I might be the only one in the rooms who's interested enough to at least click over and see the Boston Bruins Toronto Maple Leafs score tonight. That's the last
I think
playoff game
that's
alive.
very interesting because the Bruins were leading 3-1, and everybody was writing the obits for the Torontos, and now they've fought back, and now the pressure's all on the other side. Mm-hmm. You know, those Game 7s.
Love a game.
The road teams do very well because the home teams, A, they were the favorite going into the series always because they got home ice, and B, they get a little puckered up.
Mm-hmm.
I think a Toronto-Winnipeg final would be outstanding.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, my God.
It'd get about 3 people watching on TV, but it would be fun.
Kenny, are you there?
Hi.
Did you see the story on the dog and the goat walking down Highway 61?
I did, yeah.
That is, they looked like they really liked each other, didn't they? The dog
buddies.
and the goat.
Were they friends?
Yeah, they two unlikely buddies were spotted. Blah blah blah. A goat and a dog. This really happened.
Did we ever explain why this happened?
They came from some nearby farm, I suppose.
I don't understand why they had to make a big deal out of it. They weren't out in traffic, were they?
They were. Yeah, I guess they were kind of walking on the road.
I mean, the dog's just going, hey, can't a guy get a little strange?
Well, you know, horses, thoroughbred horses, they have goats in the stalls as companions
To keep them
them
calm,
and stuff,
yeah.
and keep them calm. And so a goat, when it's not eating tin cans and stuff, apparently can be a calming influence.
You can't really raise one goat alone. They're really surly and angry, kind of like me when they're alone. But if you
if you get 2 of them?
But if you put 2 together, they're both happy campers.
And this guy got a dog for a friend, so they're walking down the street.
The goat figure's close enough.
Yes, that's right.
Can you imagine 2 Kennys every afternoon? That'd be outstanding.
They, of course, they had to contact the Humane Society and go through the whole thing instead of saying, well, they got to be from around here somewhere, right?
Let them be.
Only in the city do you contact the Humane Society. Last Sunday, about 20 cows went right down the gravel past my house. And I was so disinterested that I didn't
In
even...
South Minneapolis?
No, you jackass. And I was so disinterested that I didn't go check it out. And then about an hour later, I had to run to town. And the farmer was walking them back to his pasture about 2 miles away, and they were just going right down the middle of the gravel road. It was, you know what? That's what freedom is right there, right there.
What'd you have to go into town for?
Because I wanted to go into town to mind my own business. But the same thing with donkeys, Royce. They put donkeys or jackasses or mules or whatever they are in with a herd of cows, and not only do they protect the cattle from wolves and coyotes, but it makes the cattle calm. And the donkeys also like having a pal. They get kind of crabby and surly if you try to raise a donkey alone.
You know what is funny about cattle out there in the middle of one of these pastures, and they're just all slovenly and sitting around and looking and, chewing on something, and it looks like they're paying no attention. You get an opening in that fence,
Boom.
man.
Yeah.
Somebody sees it, and they're all gone.
Yeah.
They're
The
all
eyes
going.
light up.
It's like getting into a Who concert in Cincinnati, man. It's just one big stampede.
Well, they don't sprint because they can't, but they start ambling a little.
What's
to get
that
through
over there?
fence. Yeah.
Same thing with a human in the pasture. You hop the fence and start walking in the pasture. Every single cow within miles will be running up to you to give you the sniff.
They knock you down.
It's really disconcerting.
Unless there's a bull in there.
We don't have a
good.
cow.
So basically, all we need here is 2 Kennys for him to be nicer.
I kind of have Royce. So.
Or a goat.
Or get him a goat.
Yeah, or a goat.
You notice I'm always nicer when Royce is here?
Yeah, that's true.
Anybody ever eat goat meat?
I don't think I have, Pat.
Not on purpose.
It's
In
very
Mexico.
popular in quite a few countries.
What country?
Mexico, they serve it.
They got him.
Yeah.
I don't see why it would be so bad.
Oh, it's all right.
What about horse? Anybody
I've never
know?
had horse.
Hey, I got a question for you guys.
All right.
This documentary's been out for a couple of years on McAfee, the guy who the security
The
system,
antivirus
the
thing?
antivirus McAfee. It's called Gringo. It's on Netflix. That boy was crazy.
What's it about?
It's about him. Once he made his millions, he ended up down in Belize and
I think I remember a little of that.
Got his own force of. He decided he was being threatened. And
Yeah.
got his own force of people,
Yeah.
and he had some sexual proclivities with young women down there that were kind of
Not secure.
creepy, to say the least.
How did you go from goat meat to this?
I just wanted, because I was thinking of goats, and there were goats and then walking around in Belize, and then I made the connection.
There you
I
go.
wanted to mention
Right,
this.
I got you.
I wanted to mention this.
What amazes me is
Gringo is the name of it.
you will watch virtually anything. You have seen movies that there's no way in hell I would give 2 seconds to, and you sit through them and recommend them.
What's a movie you saw over the weekend?
Tanya. Fantastic.
Really?
I don't know if I could watch that.
Oh, yes, you can. Alice and Janney they start off with actual interviews that they did with the main characters, but with the characters,
With the actors.
with the actors doing the words.
Okay.
But this is stuff that the characters actually told them.
Yeah.
And Alice and Janney's view of her, what she did for her daughter, and her daughter's view, and it's
probably don't
it's
match
great.
So
up.
they're
do
still
they?
crazy to this day, aren't they?
Oh yeah, but Tanya's straight arrow compared to the rest of them.
And she's kind of a nut herself.
But I mean, white trash beyond
Yeah.
anything.
And you can watch her on Dancing with the Star Athletes that's coming up
Is
on
she
ABC.
on? I wonder
made
if she got
Kareem
herself in
Abdul-Jabbar, Tanya Harding,
Really?
and a couple others that I don't remember.
Well, she's built like a beer keg now.
Yeah.
Used to. I wonder if she went and she had
Kareem
her.
Abdul-Jabbar is going to be on it?
I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe the hook shot.
Her most glorious moment was right over here when she won the U.S. Championship in '91 and became the first one to land a
Quadruple?
first woman to land a triple.
I think it was Dick Buttons called it the double flutter.
Dick's not with us anymore,
Oh,
right?
he's not.
Didn't he pass his Veil of
I
Tears?
think so.
I think he did.
I'd say, fellas, it's a big night on cable TV tonight. 2 big shows return. Brockmire.
Brockmire, 10 at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and Archer, which I know you guys aren't into the animated stuff, but they're going head-to-head tonight at 9 p.m.
What's Archer?
But Brockmire should be really good.
Yes, although I saw a preview of it, and Amanda Peet doesn't appear to be in this one. They're going to get her down there eventually, but he's got
She's
some
gotta be
blonde
in it.
gal. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she is in it this year, but she might not be in the first episode.
Archer's a cartoon?
Yeah, and they were doing a marathon this afternoon, so I was able to brush
of
up
the
and
old ones?
watch every single episode from last year all over again.
There went your nap. Huh?
Yeah.
Sports Talk will return shortly, but now, thanks to our great friends down in Owatonna, Minnesota at Federated Insurance, where it's their business to protect your business, and you can count on Federated for that. It's Bruce Vail from the Wall Street Journal and Your Money Now.
You know, I sat through that entire I, Tanya movie and just had one thing to say afterward.
Yeah.
Why? That's the way I felt about that.
Nice.
We had another weird session on Wall Street today. A lot of late-day volatility. The market bounced around quite a bit in the final hour, and at the close, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 59 points at 24,083. The NASDAQ Composite did fall 3 points, and the S&P 500 gained just 4. Shares of Lending Club fell 15%. The Federal Trade Commission has filed a lawsuit against the online lender, claiming it falsely promised consumers they would receive a loan with no hidden fees, when in actuality the company deducted hundreds or even thousands of dollars in hidden upfront fees from its loans. If you like beer and you like gummy bears, you might like beer-flavored gummies. Candy maker Sugarfina has partnered with Corona Light to launch Corona Light and lime-flavored gummies ahead of Cinco de Mayo. The Cerveza gummies are shaped like a beer bottle. The Good Lime gummies are shaped like a slice of lime, but no matter how many you eat, you won't get drunk. They taste like beer but don't contain the alcohol. I'm Bruce Vail with Your Money Now on 1500 ESPN.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. We're going to let you go. We've got a couple of traffic items to talk about here. This one's sponsored by Frontline Plus. First of all, Highway 7 still closed west of St. Bonnie. A tanker truck rolled over there early this morning. It was full of ethanol. They spilled about almost 7,000 gallons, so they're still picking up that mess. And eastbound 5 still closed at Eden Prairie Road due to a serious crash and fire. I believe John Height will have more details on that. Warmer weather means more time outside, but it can also mean more.
Rogers.
Yes, Director of Social Media.
So you guys mentioned the debut of Brockmeyer tonight.
Yes.
And I grabbed a clip from last week's Dan Le Batard show. Brockmeyer's making the rounds in various outlets, and he joined the boys in studio last week, which was spectacular. And one of the clips we grabbed here involves a former Minnesota Twins baseball player.
Jim Brockmeyer has a legendary feud with Brent Musburger.
You're not going to bring that up?
Well, I already did. Now it's too late. I'm sorry to dig up a part of your past that you might not be comfortable with. Brent Musburger's an icon. Why would you feud with him?
I don't like to talk about him.
We insist. We do an interview. We do a show. We demand honesty from our guests.
Can you call somebody a punk B? Can you say that?
No, but...
Well, I just did. That's what he is.
All right.
And his face is annoying, right? Everybody hates his face. Nobody likes his face.
It's true.
But about 15, 20 years ago, we got into it a little bit over the pronunciation of... Do you remember Kent Herbeck? Remember him?
Yeah. Yes.
Remember him?
First baseman for the Twins.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And I'm pretty sure he's in the Fat Guy Hall of Fame. But
he should be.
I speak a little bit of Czech, and the actual correct pronunciation of his name is Herbeck. You got to roll the I. Herbeck. Okay, and I told that to Musburger because he asked me. He said, "Am I pronouncing this correctly?" I'm like, "Well, if you want to know, actually, it's Herbeck." And you know what he said to me? He said, "I don't care. I don't care, dude. I don't care." I said, "Well, you asked me, first of all. And second of all, what kind of attitude is that?" I took it as a slight to the Czech people, quite frankly. And one thing led to another. He ended up, I don't know how to say this. He took a dump in my hotel bed. Okay? He did.
Why? What was your history? Why would it escalate to there?
There wasn't a small amount of alcohol involved. I mean, it was funny, but it was also very unsanitary and highly uncalled for.
That ball's a gondola.
This was the one where he said that one can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery because it has been tattooed.
Oh, God. And then I think he blamed Joe Buck for the hotel incident, and then had a huge feud with Joe Buck.
That's such a brilliant character. Oh, my God.
Sunny and 58 degrees. Timberwolves in Houston tonight trying to stay alive for the season. Houston leads the best-of-7 series, 3-1. Yankees have won the first 2 games of that series with the Twins. The Twins will try to stop that this evening. With last night's loss in Yankee Stadium, the Twins have now lost 5 in a row. Tonight, Lance Lynn goes for the Twins and Sonny Gray for the Yankees.
1952 in the Bronx this century. Update it.
They haven't had a winning record since Kent Herbeck.
News notes from today that...
Why can't you guys get him on, Royce?
Oh, we've tried.
We tried to get him last year. We got the kind of the developer of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Last year.
Right.
And he was great, too.
Azaria making news in other things too.
Yeah,
Did you
for
see
Apu?
the Simpson story. Yeah. Apu. He said he'll do whatever they want, but he says he can see why some people may be offended.
I don't understand why he has to take the heat for it. He's the actor. All he does is provide the voice.
Yeah.
He doesn't write it. He didn't create it.
The character's been around since 1989.
Well, it's a little.
I get that part,
it's a little questionable. But I don't see why.
Is it a
Hank
story because he's now he's everywhere?
No, there was a movie 2-3 years ago that an Indian filmmaker made. A young man who basically it was an hour of basically saying that character is racist and shouldn't be handled that way. So, and interviewing various people about it. So, news notes from today: an SUV caught fire. Kenny was talking about this afternoon on an Eden Prairie highway, and the driver was killed, according to authorities. The incident occurred early in the afternoon near Highway 5 and 212 and Mitchell Road, according to emergency dispatch audio. It looks like the vehicle began having trouble at least 1.5 miles to the west of Highway 5. There was fresh debris leading to where the vehicle came to a stop. No immediate word on what started the fire or whether any other vehicles were involved originally. State transportation officials say eastbound Highway 5 will remain closed through the evening commute.
That can't be good for traffic.
Yeah, it's East 5 at Eden Prairie Road is where it's closed. And Highway 7, I believe, is still closed west of St. Bonifacius. You had this story too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, an ethanol tanker truck rolled. They spilled about 7,000 gallons of ethanol.
Oh, my God.
What's going on out there?
People are on their phone and not driving.
These people are steering wheel holders. They're not. We don't raise real drivers anymore. They get their CDL in 7 hours, and that's why that happens.
From the Star Tribune, Minneapolis police officer Mohammed Noor plans to plead not guilty to murder and manslaughter charges in the fatal shooting of Justine Demond, according to court documents filed today. According to the document signed by his attorney, Thomas Plunkett, the former officer intends to use self-defense and reasonable force in the defense. The document, known as a Rule 9 disclosure, didn't elaborate further. His next hearing is scheduled for May 8th. Noor, of course, charged May 20th with third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter in the July shooting death of the 40-year-old Demond, a native of Australia. Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman said last month that the officer acted recklessly when he fired the shot into the dark that killed Demond after she called 911 to report a suspected rape in her South Minneapolis neighborhood.
I don't think that's a bulletin that he's pleading not guilty.
No.
Would you, Johnny?
No. California authorities say a man they suspect of being a serial killer tied to dozens of slayings and sexual assaults in the 70s and 80s has this afternoon now been charged with murder.
Wow.
Ventura County.
Why have we not heard of this guy, or have we?
I had, but I don't know.
What was the name for him?
Golden State Killer was one, and East Area Rapist, they called him also. Ventura County District Attorney Greg Totten told reporters his office charged Joseph James D'Angelo with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the 1980 killings of a couple. Totten said prosecutors will seek the death penalty against the former police officer.
Wow.
What's the one I'm thinking of? The astrological sign.
Oh, Zodiac.
Zodiac.
They never found him.
Yeah. Authorities in Sacramento County have also arrested D'Angelo on suspicion of murder in the slayings of married couple Brian and Katie Maggiore in 1978. A Sacramento County District Attorney Anne Marie Schubert this afternoon said DNA helped solve the case. The attacker, who became known by various names, including East Area Rapist, is accused at least 12 homicides, 45 rapes, and dozens of burglaries across the state
and then
of California.
Then he shut her down? What
they haven't said why.
In the 35 years since?
They haven't said, basically. This all came to light. I don't know if you followed. Patton Oswalt's wife was a investigative reporter. She wrote a book about this fella, and then she died right before the book was finished. They completed the book. The book came out, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Meanwhile, he's married already.
Yeah, he's already married. And the book apparently helped solve the case. This person was apparently one of the suspects in her book. So there you go. Danish inventor, speaking of sordid tales, the Danish inventor Peter Madsen sentenced to life in prison today. He's the fella accused and convicted of murdering, sexually mutilating, and dismembering a Swedish female journalist with premeditation aboard his homemade submarine in Copenhagen Harbor in 2017.
I was reading about this story about 3 days ago. Unbelievable.
Already well known in Denmark for his submarines and his plan to send a human into space in a homemade rocket, Madsen was detained last August when he emerged from his submarine without Wall 30-year-old journalist who was researching a piece on him. Later that month, police identified a torso washed ashore as Wall's, her arms, legs, and head were found later. Madsen changed his version of the event several times, finally arguing that Wall had been suffocated by an accidental gas leak. You guys were talking a little bit about the goat and dog here. I'll tell you what I know about that.
Okay.
State Patrol Lieutenant Gordon Shank, he was called upon to wrangle the unlikely duo. They were on the road.
Wrangle.
They were walking down Highway 61 near Hastings. Loose goat and dog. They did, Patrick, you said they looked like buddies, didn't they?
Yeah, right.
I knew when you
They were
see
ambling, talking, BSing.
talking. According to the State Patrol, motorists were able to contain the two animals. Shank kept them company as he waited for the Animal Humane Society to get there. The Animal Humane Society reported the duo were from the same family. They were returned where they came from.
Goat full of dynamite? What are we going to do?
A Buffalo museum has made a rare discovery within its own collection, a fully intact egg from the extinct elephant bird that until now was thought to be a fake.
Buffalo, Minnesota?
No, Buffalo, sorry.
The animal.
Buffalo, New York.
I see.
Buffalo, New York.
I didn't know if we got
thought
a
it was a
museum
Buffalo
in Buffalo.
museum.
That's what I was
I
wondering.
think we got the Phil Mackey Baseball Museum. They got his glove and spikes in there.
They got a nice rodeo in Buffalo, too.
Yeah, they do that.
Elephant bird?
I thought it was a Buffalo museum.
Curators at
You
the...
dummies, you didn't get the most important part. Elephant
Buffalo
bird.
bird.
Thank you, Ken. That's why I brought
Be a
this
big
story.
bird.
This must be a large bird.
Curators at the Buffalo Museum of Science were cataloging pieces in the museum's collection when they realized and confirmed that the foot-tall egg had been mislabeled as a model. It measures 28 inches 28 inches around.
One job.
This must be a model.
Weighs more than 3 pounds.
Can you still hatch it, I wonder?
I don't believe so.
would guess
It was in like the mop room, too.
Experts say there are fewer than 40 intact elephant bird eggs held in public institutions. If you're wondering,
When did he go
Be
out
like
of business?
Jurassic Park, they'll bring that baby back to life.
When did he go out of business, the elephant bird?
the elephant bird, I'm not sure how long ago,
When did he go out of business?
but he
You
was
have no business mocking him. Could you hatch it? Yeah, it's 100 million years old.
I'm not mocking it. I
No,
want
I'm
to know
not
when
talking-
they went extinct.
I'm talking to
He's
Sushere.
ripping me, not ripping
Hey,
you.
you know what the elephant
You
bird...
had a legitimate question, sir.
Yeah.
You know what the elephant
never
bird
gonna
said
get
to the
this
human?
Who'd you get to
Story
sit on it anyway?
No, that's great, but can it pick up peanuts?
That's right.
the flightless elephant bird was native.
Or was it, or how do you breathe out of that thing? Maybe that was how do you breathe out of that thing?
Out of your eyes.
Native to Madagascar. It grew to be 10 feet tall, weighed between 770 and 1,100 pounds, laid the largest eggs of any vertebrate, including dinosaurs. Museum will unveil the egg.
You know what? It
I'm
might
pretty
come as a-
sure he
May
was. I'm sure
1st.
he was serious too.
No,
that was
it
not.
might come as a shock to you.
That was
I
not.
realize you can't hatch
No,
it.
you didn't.
I
You
got
did
an
not.
incubator.
I
Yeah,
got to
you're
say
right.
something here.
Yeah,
Madagascar, another series you can find on TV, and it's about 20 years old, but it's an Attenborough one
Oh, yeah,
about
David.
that island. They got all kinds of unique animals on there because nothing else.
Isn't that a child's cartoon?
Nothing else.
Madagascar movie,
nothing else exists there.
All right.
What are you? What sports are you missing while you're watching these other things?
Just a moment. Just
The
a
twins and the wild and the wolves. Nothing, in other words, nothing.
No, I can't. Don't talk, Kenneth says.
Let's just cancel the rest of the program and listen to this song.
Okay.
All I can think of is Jackie Brown.
Right, exactly.
I better talk now. From
Yes.
our neighbors next door to Wisconsin, a Sheboygan woman is facing multiple criminal charges after her 12-year-old daughter told a sheriff's deputy she sat on mom's lap while driving an SUV along the highway last month because mom was hammered. 41-year-old Amanda Hauk was charged with first offense operating while intoxicated with a minor in the vehicle and first offense operating with a prohibited alcohol concentration with a minor in the vehicle, both misdemeanors.
How old was the girl again, John?
12.
Oh, well, she should have been able to drive by herself.
Right.
Not on the lap.
Yeah.
According to a criminal complaint filed last week in Sheboygan County Court, a county sheriff's deputy tipped off about the incident by a witness who said she'd seen a juvenile driving along Interstate 45 Interstate 43, while sitting on an adult's lap.
On the interstate?
Yep. By the time a deputy...
That's hammered.
That's different.
This wasn't a farm road.
Yeah, no, that's bad. That's bad.
By the time a deputy stopped the suspect vehicle, Hauk was sitting behind the wheel and the 12-year-old was in the back seat. Hauk initially denied having allowed the girl to sit on her lap and drive, although she acknowledged doing so in a later interview. The girl also told the deputy she had operated the SUV from mom's lap. Witness who reported the incident said the girl had struggled to keep the SUV in her lane, but that the vehicle had difficulty staying in its lane even after the girl had quit driving. The witness also showed a deputy's cell phone video he'd taken while riding in another vehicle near the SUV. That video showed Hauk holding up her cell phone as though she was recording the witness as the vehicles drove next to each other.
That works.
The video also showed Hauk spending long periods of time looking at the witness, only glancing occasionally at the road in front of her. Blood alcohol level 0.12, higher than the 0.08
that's
legal
not
limit.
terrible. I'll always remember, Kenny, like the first week we were on the morning show, and Bob Berglund read the story about the woman in Sheboygan who got 3 DWIs in one evening.
One day. I remember that story. Right? I remember that story.
How do they not just keep them in jail?
The second time you'd think they'd say, honey, you might as well spend the night.
In India, watch this video. It's a very strange video. The video shows a chained-up monkey collecting money while dressed as a creepy blonde doll and wearing a mask.
Oh, this is
change for a 5.
This is terribly eerie.
Did you see
really
it, Joe?
is.
Did you see it?
Yes,
Oh,
it's eerie as hell.
Today is unbelievable.
Look kind of like E.T. Look dressed up kind of like the kid had E.T. dressed up.
Animal lovers have voiced their outrage over the clip, which shows the monkey holding a bucket for drivers to drop cash into.
Wow.
It was filmed in Bogor, Indonesia. The performing monkey can be seen wearing a pink tracksuit and chained by his neck to the side of the road.
Does it work?
But the blonde wig and the face mask, the whole deal.
Yeah, but how much
Like a
money
kid.
did he raise?
On his head, the monkey has a giant female doll mask, which is complete with ponytailed blonde hair and sunglasses. Clutching the blue bucket to collect money, the monkey stands and looks around at the drivers, waiting for anyone who might be willing to offer some payment.
It's going somewhere.
When he spots someone holding a note for him, he swiftly walks over to the driver and accepts the money.
A trained monkey.
Yeah, that is fantastic. What a great idea.
Monkey then returns to his performance, watching and waiting for another customer. The clip was posted widely on Facebook last week. One social media user writing, "Poor monkey."
Oh, come on. The monkey's got a reason to live.
That's legal, isn't
The
it?
monkey loves this.
Yes.
The incident was part of
Plus, the hobo that usually stands there, he's outsourced his own gig. He's hired a guy. And the hobo is now an employer.
Wait till the guys that stand out there when you come off 280 hear about this, man. We're going to have a monkey.
The incident was part of a traditional
I'd give a
street.
monkey a buck.
We'll just put Rookie in a gorilla suit.
That works. You can get a lot of money. Homeless gorilla. Veteran.
Like the one that starred in that movie.
Yes.
Will work for bananas.
The incident was part of a traditional street performance known as Topeng Monyet, translated as Monkey's Mask. But Topeng Monyet was banned in Indonesia's capital city after a campaign in 2013. However, the practice continues throughout the country.
Don't tell me Pete is gaining influence in Indonesia, for God's sakes.
A father in England let his 2-year-old drive his toy Range Rover through a McDonald's drive-thru to order lunch. And McDonald's is mad about it.
Next story.
Well, this
Wait,
isn't a bad
no.
story.
This is a driving story. What? Why did he do this?
Have you seen the insurance ad where the kid has to go to his parents who are laying in bed reading?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a brilliant.
Let me tell you
Brilliant
something.
piece.
My wife hates every single commercial on TV, but that one that she's seen a million times, she laughs
It's
every
brilliant.
single
You know, I had
time.
an accident in an unreasonably narrow drive-through. Finally, the mom says, "No car for a month." Yeah, okay.
got it. Yep.
And she laughs uproariously every
It's
time.
pretty good, though. It's really good.
Paul Turner told his son he walked to the restaurant in Doncaster with his son Austin to the McDonald's, saw that there were no cars in the drive-thru. So he thought it'd be cute to let the son cruise up to the window.
I'm with him.
Me too. What's wrong with this so far?
Order a cheeseburger.
This is dumb.
With a big grin on his face, Austin pulled up.
Look at my cute kid. Aren't we special?
And said,
somebody get this on the YouTube. This will go viral.
I can't be grumpy about this.
Even next thing you know, some nut job in Minneapolis is going to do the story on the air.
So the Krabby Coffee Shop, when Kenny's in charge.
Wait a minute.
The Krabby Coffee Shop is not going to serve them in the drive-thru if it's a kid and his little...
We will call Child Protection
We're not
Services.
having a drive-through.
No.
Get out of your damn car and walk in.
We'll have a drive-through, and they pull up. We'll open the window and blast them with a garden hose.
Did the guy get arrested?
Well, no, he didn't. The kid pulled up, said, I want a cheeseburger, handed over the money. The staff thought it was great, gave him the cheeseburger. But the folks at McDonald's corporate, they didn't feel the same way. They said, our drive-through lanes are specifically designed for roadworthy motor vehicles, and only people in such vehicles will be served.
I agree.
Anyone attempting to use a different mode of transport will be asked to make their order inside.
Stop trying to go viral, Dad.
Remember when the White Castle wouldn't give the woman in the wheelchair over on Rice Street there?